No, it's an angle valve. It's a globe valve.
Globe.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you say globe. It's a low point drain, and it's also a hookup for a fire hose. Okay. Which, if you went around there,
Bring your own.
they came through. That drops down. You know why it drops down? Because all that does is service that portion of the building, and you can isolate it from the rest of the building. So if you had an issue and one of the heads went off in there, you had to do some work on it, you can come here, shut that valve off, and that's no more than a butterfly valve in there. Shut that off, take the pressure off of it, and drain that system down. Just that portion, and still leave everything here active.
Supplied.
Mm-hmm.
Just different zone.
Yeah, and it's called an auxiliary system when you attach it in a fire, on a fire line, and it only services that portion. That's it. The main.
Going out to the...
And the further it gets, or the closer it gets to the riser outside, the larger the line gets.
The main supply.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That helps with the pressure, right?
Are we going to go out and see the riser?
There's a pump that kicks in too. If it detects flow, there's a pump that kicks on, and that pressure on the riser over there, it might be 125 to 150. It'll go up to 175 to 200. And that's a lot of water that goes out there. Just didn't take the tape off the heads like they were supposed to. There's several heads around here. All of this is brand new. All of it outside is brand new. It was put in with a combination of outside guys. These are both sitting right on 150. So recognize the colic.
Big boys.
This is the drain above. It's a new style butterfly valve. You've got a check valve inside of here. That's why you've got one pressure reading here and one pressure reading below. This is the line coming in from outside, and then it stops right here. And then all of that above there is held in place by a check valve. The big bronze. You drop that on your fingers, you're in trouble. The next piece up, just to give you a nickel sketch, that inside of there, that's one of the paddles. We've got one on the bench in there. They used to be made of either a bronze, you could roll it up like a sheet, copper, or stainless that you could roll up, almost like tin foil. Now they're made out of plastic, and how you get them in that pipe, because it literally sits inside the pipe like this, and then it's attached to a lever, comes out, and then it hooks up to a micro switch. Anyway, at the slightest flow in there, in that riser, like a head goes off, it detects that flow, activates the switch, and that's how the signals get back to
the fire department.
And these are all labeled too, which riser it is and the location, so they're not looking all over the building to see where the fire is.
Oh.
Yep.
The pumps did not push that water up in there. Otherwise, what you'd have is this top one right here would read above that 150, because it's gonna fill that line up till there's no more, and then it's gonna deadhead, which means there's no more room for any more water to go in there, and then the weight of that check valve in there is just gonna drop shut, which is gonna trap that higher pressure above the check valve. That also tells you over time if the pump has been the one if the pump has kicked on to fill the system up, that the check valve is actually working right, because this pressure and this pressure, if the pump filled the system, this one should be higher than this one.
Where are the pumps at?
Pumps are in that room over there.
Oh, okay.
Well, they'll pour concrete so that that cannot move, that riser. And they left the pressure on it so the building was protected because they were doing so much demo work in here. Well, in the morning when I walked by it, it was up, and I mean, we had replaced these as fitters in our building, replaced the risers before, and I knew that was down there, or was supposed to be down there. It wasn't. So I walked by one morning, and these were straight up, the ones that were the original ones. Walked by a couple hours later when they were working on them, taking the concrete out, and it was tipped over like this. It tried to actually walk up out of that hole from the pressure. And I saw, who was looking at the rods? Howard? Yeah, these rods right here. And those rods go down into that concrete to hold everything stable. And then there is a concrete, they pour concrete down on the sides. It's thrust, so it can't kick out of position. That's a new piece right there. It tests this line right here to see if there's any kind of flow and then what pressure. Because that's what we need for that. I don't know. I'm going to hold off on that, not even answer that. They dropped another head down over there. You see where they put it? It's at the high point of the system.
They only got to put one in, that's it.
Yeah, and that's a clue too. Well, actually, you would have thought that they would have had more of them, because if I had air in here, it's not going to work its way over there.
Yeah, because it's already high point over there.
Yeah. So you would have thought that they would have had more of them in the system, but they